Hey y'all, hey everybody, this is David with Hungry for a Day, and I got my friends Tricia and Tyler Peck on the line with me today, and we're doing this series, as everybody knows, called Generosity in Action. And the reason we got Tricia and Tyler on, the first thing is because Tyler was very instrumental in helping us with our drive to feed the doctors at Grady. So we'll talk about that, and then we're going to talk about what Tricia did with her colleagues as well. So Tyler, you were the one that kind of helped us make the connection at Grady. Tell us a little bit about your time at Grady.
Yeah, absolutely, David. So I'm an ICU doctor. We currently live in Boston, but I did my medical school and residency training in Atlanta. And Grady Hospital was so important to me for a bunch of reasons. It's a great place to train as a doctor, but it also is really ingrained in providing a lot of community-based care for residents of Atlanta who don't have other places to go for their healthcare. And the people who work at Grady are so committed to that mission that I'm really excited in talking with you, David, about providing an opportunity for people to give towards meals for the healthcare providers there in Atlanta.
Yeah, so Tyler made all the connections for us, made it so easy on Hungry for a Day. And what we're able to do, this was 3 or 4 weeks ago, is we were able to feed 75 people, doctors, nurses, everything down to custodial staff that were working in 2 different COVID ICU wards, if I remember this correctly. So it's pretty great. Everybody that comes in contact with these wards, once they scrubbed in for the day, they couldn't leave. They weren't able to go out and get lunch or anything. So this is just our way of saying thanks. And as they're on the front lines doing some amazing things for people in Atlanta. So Tyler, thank you. Thank you for doing that, man.
Awesome.
Tell me what you're doing now, man. I know you're up there in Boston. What does your typical day look like these days?
Yeah, so similar to there in Atlanta in the COVID ICUs, because I'm an ICU doctor, I've been working in a couple of different of our COVID ICU units, taking care of really sick patients with COVID, and have been on the receiving end of some of those gifted meals from the community, which is just an amazing encouragement to those of us who are on the front lines taking care of these really sick patients and trying to make a difference.
No, awesome. We appreciate you. That's awesome. And thank you for what you've done for Hungry for a Day. So Tricia, you obviously saw the drive. You heard about it. You heard about me and Tyler talking about it. And you said, hey, more than just giving, I wanted to do something. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I regularly volunteer with a homeless and recovery shelter here in Boston with my company. And I actually heard an article story on the news about this specific shelter and about just what a tough time their employees were having as they normally run on heavy volunteer staff, but they had to eliminate all volunteer activity due to the pandemic situation. And all 50 of their full-time staff members were now having to do, in addition to social work, try to package up like prepackaged, ready to go meals for employees. A lot of them were pulling double shifts, working both at the homeless shelter and at kind of a pop-up housing situation they had set up here in Boston at a hotel for the homeless population to help with social distancing. And what the story really emphasized is that the employees at first really rose to the challenge and said, hey, anything you need, I'm here for it. I'll work all day, every day, extra shifts. And this was about 7 weeks into that situation. And the CEO of it's called St. Francis House here in Boston just said, my people are exhausted. They're still showing up every day. They are working hard, but they are exhausted. And so I felt compelled, since I wasn't able to show up and help take some of that burden off of their hands, that we could still treat them and encourage them with some lunches for those employees to show them that they matter, that we see them as frontline workers. So St. Francis House and set up a GoFundMe.
Nice. And so this was mainly with your colleagues, you said?
Yeah, so I reached out to just my network of colleagues that normally would sign up to volunteer to serve lunch at St. Francis House once or twice a month, and asked them to contribute with their wallets instead of with their work hours.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you guys ended up feeding like 50 people or something?
Yeah, so my original goal was just to provide a lunch for them for one day. They have about 50 full-time employees, and actually, due to the overwhelming response to the campaign, we were able to provide 3 really full, robust lunches to their employees. And we were able to do it using local restaurants and vendors. And so that was an exciting opportunity to support people in the area and businesses in the area as well.
That's awesome. And, you know, as you two know, obviously, and our community knows, like Hungry for Days is about inspiring generosity in people, right? And I just wanted to take some time this week just to tell some stories of just, you know, just normal people who are saying, hey, what can I do to help out during this time? And I've asked this to everybody else that's been on this little video series, but I'm going to ask you too. And so my question for you is like, hey, if someone were to come up to you and say, what can I do to, you know, just be thinking about living generously? What do you do? Whether it's, hey, I don't have money or I don't have time or you name it, like, what would you tell them?
I would say I know that there are a lot of great local organizations here in Boston and also in Atlanta, whether it be Hungry for a Day, but also just other community-based organizations that are really plugged into providing on-the-ground support for people in need. And connecting with them through social media or opening your wallet and making a donation. I think those are great ways to help out.
I love it.
I would say just don't underestimate the array of things that you can contribute. For example, we raised $1,400 for these lunches, and my personal contribution was only a fraction of that. But just the organization and call to action of my friends and colleagues was able to amplify that by a lot. And so don't underestimate the gifts that you can provide or offer.
That's so good. Don't underestimate the power of your network, right?
Yeah.
You know, kind of a story that goes along with that. When I started Hungry for a Day with my co-founder, my wife, the thing that she told me, she was like, I'm all for you starting this nonprofit. I know it's going to take time, but what I don't want this to be is just, you know, just us as a way for us to have, whether it's, you know, a tax write-off or a way for us to give. And I said, no, that's not it. We want to inspire this in a lot of people. And it's amazing, right? We've had literally, you know, hundreds of thousands of people have been helped out through Hungry for a Day over the last few years because people said, hey, I see what you guys are doing. I want to be a part of it. So I think that's wise. Don't underestimate what you could do. Well, awesome, y'all. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us today. And I know we thank you and the Hungry for a Day community thanks you. And excited for just the ongoing friendship that we have with y'all.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
David.